Hi, everyone. How are you? I just wanted to jump on real quick to share with you a new method that I found, new to me, anyways, not new in general, but I'm still working. I'm finishing off in the Mythomorphia coloring book here, Kerby Rosanes, and I have a few more pages to go. Now, on this page, I'm doing something new, and that is I covered the page with the Daniel Smith transparent watercolor ground that I got from Amazon. And I didn't think to try it on a coloring book page. I thought, oh, the paper's not going to take it. It's probably too thick for it, whatever. But I tried it anyways. I said, let's try it. Because I have used watercolor on these pages, but the pages are very thick, good quality paper, but it's not watercolor paper. So when you put watercolor on it, you can only do so much. You can only put one layer and the paper just absorbs it right away. Just let me show you an example here, what I've done, the one I've covered with watercolor. If I can find it. So this paper is pretty good, but it's not watercolor quality. So I decided to put this Daniel Smith ground on it, and you have to let it dry for 24 hours. But now I'm painting on it now with my watercolors, just regular watercolors and brush. And it's working very well. I have to say, I recommend this now. I mean, it's a lot of fun. So now, before, if I put watercolor on, I could just use it for a background and just do a quick wash, and it would, and that's all you could do, basically. If you tried to put more watercolor on it, it would just, the paper would start disintegrating and falling out. But with this Daniel Smith ground on it, you've got a really good base. It's a little rough. It feels a little rough, but I'm putting a second layer. So I put one layer of cobalt blue, a very light cobalt blue, and now I'm going over it and mixing the cobalt blue with some yellow for the leaves. And I used a alizarin crimson, a light layer of alizarin crimson for the feathers. And that's just one layer. I'm not done yet. I'm gonna do more layers, and I'm just waiting for you. So you got to put one layer on, and because it kind of sits on top a little bit because it doesn't. It sort of feels like watercolor paper, but the color doesn't absorb into. There's nothing to absorb into really for the paper. So you just have to wait for it to dry, and then after it dries, then you can add another layer on top of it. But this is a lot of fun. So this is the first time where I'm using my watercolor paints, and I'm basically just painting in this picture. I'm not coloring. I'm painting into. So this is a lot of fun. It really opens the door for watercolor people, watercolor artists, watercolor people, artists, because acrylic, of course, you can put right on the paper and that works fine. Well, the watercolor, it's a bit trickier, and I didn't think I would ever be able to do this. So I'm very excited. This is a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun painting this page. And so now I'm going to put on a second layer here. So I'm using the alizarin crimson. So just right over, look at that, nice bright. So now I'm making it a lot brighter now. So it's definitely a unique experience to paint in your coloring books. And so now it's like a whole new door, I guess you could say, has been open for how I'm going to go about. I think I'm going forward. I'm going to be doing a lot more of painting in my coloring books here. I think I'm going to be. I still love color pencils. Don't get me wrong. I might do some color pencil on top of this, but I think I'm going to be doing a lot more watercolor painting, and it's great because people want to have that blend, that ability to fade out the color, and you can do that with markers, but I try to stay away from using markers because they're just expensive and they run out, right? Unlike watercolor, much more affordable, and you can get that same blending that you would get with markers with watercolor for a fraction of the price. So I prefer watercolor. It's just more, you never have to worry about running out unless you run out of water, of course. But I don't think that will happen. So it's yeah. So I'm really enjoying the idea, and thanks to this Daniel Smith grounding, it's fantastic. So here I'm putting in different, just using alizarin crimson, and I'm able to put, this is my third layer here. So I had a layer of blue, then a layer of alizarin crimson. Now I'm going in for a third layer here of alizarin crimson. So you can just layer and layer on it. So it's much better than with, if I didn't put the ground on the paper here, the Daniel Smith grounding here, then I would have only been able to put one layer, of watercolor on without it. So this is fantastic. I'm able to put layer upon layer of watercolor on top of this paper now. Wow. I put a little bit more cobalt blue over here. Get some shading in there, a little purplish. I'm just going wild. Just my first time painting in this coloring book. Very exciting. I'm getting a kick out of it. So yeah, just another idea of what you can do. So here we go, putting a fourth layer on now. You can put layer upon layer here with this ground on it. So I look forward. Right now I'm just sort of playing with it. I don't have anything really planned here for this picture. Oops, playing the camera there. I'm just playing around here and just enjoying painting in my coloring book. And again, it does have a bit, when you feel it at first, it does feel like a bit gritty. But I mean, I don't care about that. It's just something to be aware of. So yeah, so you can, whatever you can do with watercolor on watercolor paper, you can do with this. It looks like. Get that nice blending in however you want to do it. Multiple layers. Get it very vibrant, can get very saturated. Sky's the limit. Whatever you can do with a regular watercolor painting. So I just thought I would share that with you, that you can find a way to paint your coloring books if you enjoy it with watercolor. All right, so that's all I wanted to show you. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.